Boom. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today, ChatGPT will rank my entire fragrance collection. If you're a long-time viewer of the channel, you'll know that we did a video very similar to this about 13 or 14 months ago, definitely over a year. And since then, in the last year and some change, my fragrance collection has definitely grown. It's changed. Old things have been passed down and gotten rid of, and new things have been brought into the collection. And quite honestly, that list some 14 months ago looks completely different to the one that ChatGPT came up with for this week's video, using my current fragrance collection as of February the 11th, 2026. So I'm excited to dive into this and discuss it, just hear ChatGPT's thoughts, because this isn't my ranking. This isn't the general public's ranking, and this isn't really even the fragrance community's ranking. This is just solely gave ChatGPT my collection. Let's see what it thinks. And it gave us a lot of good things to discuss. And so without further ado, let's jump in. Coming in at number 10, Louis Vuitton's City of Stars. Now, before I dive into what they said about this fragrance, they did give Versace Pour Homme, Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir, City Rhythms San Diego, and Prada Paradigm as the 4 honorable mentions. So take that with what you wish. I thought that was pretty interesting myself. But here's what they said about City of Stars. Fun, stylish, and modern. It feels like vacation nights, warm air, and confidence. Not your most versatile, but it's a pure vibe. Thank you, ChatGPT, for that. If you guys know me, I talked about it last week in the video. This is one of my favorite fragrances that has quite simply ever been made. And I know that's a controversial take. I know that this is a love it or hate it fragrance. But this has so many good memories for me in the wintertime. The bottle, the gradient, the packaging, the fragrance itself, everything you could like and love about this fragrance. And so it throws it in there at number 10, Louis Vuitton City of Stars. Didn't crack the list last time we did this, but of course I've gotten a full bottle since then. It comes in at number 10. I figured this brand would be represented, maybe not this low on the list, but YSL's Y EDP Intense. Not the regular YSL Y EDP, YSL Myself, YSL Y Live, the Elixir, the Eau de Toilette, none of those made the cut. Y EDP Intense at number 9. Mass appealing done right. Fresh, sweet, confident, and youthful without being juvenile. Great dumb reach that still hits. You guys also know me. This is certainly not one of the more popular YSLY fragrances out. And even people that don't reach for the original YEDP, they go for the Le Parfum or the Elixir or maybe some of the more discontinued offerings. But I love this fragrance. So I'd have to agree with ChatGPT there. It is a more grown-up version of that Y DNA. It's still sweet, but it has a masculine, woody earthiness to it. And that's exactly what ChatGPT points out, with it being mass appealing, done right, sweet, confident. I don't know if I would say youthful, because this is specifically designed to be a more grown-up version of Y EDP, but it's not juvenile, like they say, so I'll give them props for that. Coming in at number 9, Y EDP Intense. Coming in at number 8, Prada Sport. Interesting that this one did not make the list last time. This is the first full bottle I've ever purchased with my own money, and so it had the opportunity to be on the list last year, but it just didn't make the cut for some reason. But I guess ChatGPT has become a fan of Prada Sport over time. Clean, professional, and timeless. This works everywhere. Church, meetings, everyday wear, and they even describe it as a quiet flex. I'd have to agree with Chat's assessment there. I think clean, professional, timeless, certainly one of the most versatile and fun and just vibrant fragrances that you can wear. Obviously, any fragrance that you wear, ideally, it's going to put you in a good mood and make you feel like the main character, make you feel like you're going out. You're supposed to enjoy wearing the fragrance. But there's just something about Prada Sport. You guys know this is my Friday fragrance every single Friday of the year. I don't care if it's 97 degrees outside or if it's -7 degrees. I'm reaching for this because this is the weekend in a bottle to me. And honestly, shout out to ChatGPT for putting this in at number 8, because even still in the market, whether it's this one or the Prada Sport 2024, I think both of them still work. The newer Prada Sport's a little heavier, maybe a little better suited for wintertime, but it's the same DNA practically. So not much of a difference there. This is one of the most underrated Prada fragrances of all time. I know I'm biased. I know I have many, many memories made wearing this fragrance. That might just be me, but still, I think it offers great versatility. And obviously, ChatGPT sees that because they're throwing it in at number 8. For number 7, ChatGPT went a little bolder with their choice. This is City Rhythm and Fragrance Knowledge's collab of Riviere. This was described by Chat as my connoisseur pick in my collection. It is unique, artistic, and niche without being weird. This is the one fragrance people ask about. And might I add that the ask about is put in, it's italicized. So very interesting. They called it my connoisseur pick, unique, artistic, and niche. Hey, more power to them. This is certainly one of the more unique fragrances in my collection. So I'll give them props for nailing that. I've been very vocal in the past that me as a collector, and I think my collection reflects this, I'm not a huge fan of gourmand fragrances, but this has that steamed, sugary kind of coffee vibe that is done just right. Kind of can think of Soul Cafe, but strip away all the fruits and all the excess noise that the coffee shop and the cafe would bring, and just focus in on the actual beverage itself. Steamed coffee, sugary, creamy, addictive scent profile. This is incredible for evening wear use. You can wear it during the day, but evening wear use in the colder months, this stuff's going to hit it out of the park. That's why it's number 7, according to ChatGPT. City Rhythm, Fragrance Knowledge, Riviere. Coming in at number 6, one of the newer full bottles that I have purchased, Stronger With You Sandalwood. My personal favorite, Stronger With You, hence why it's the only Stronger With You full bottle that I own. But for a lot of people, this is their favorite. And obviously it has to be that way for ChatGPT because they describe this as warm, smooth, and addictive. This feels like confidence plus comfort. Fantastic for evenings, fall, and cooler weather. Hug-worthy without being sweet overload. So I guess if you're looking for hugs and if you're looking for compliments and positive feedback, go pick you up a bottle of Stronger With You Sandalwood. Obviously, this stuff is getting a lot harder to find because they unfortunately discontinued this. That really upsets me because for myself and a lot of people, this is that Stronger With You DNA, but it's kind of taken up almost to a niche level. I would almost be willing to say that. Especially if I smell this without knowing the brand or the scent, it would pass as a niche fragrance to me. It's got that addictive Stronger With You DNA, but adds a good bit of saffron, and as the name would suggest, sandalwood. And this sandalwood is just done to perfection in this fragrance. And that's why it comes in at number 6 across the entire collection. A lot of the flankers offer this DNA, but with a twist. But especially out of all those, the oud, the amber, the tobacco, the spices, the sandalwood, I think the sandalwood flanker of this line is the best, bar none. And I would take it across the entire line, which it seems like AI would agree with that as well. So coming in at number 6, Stronger With You Sandalwood. They had to throw another Prada fragrance in this list. Prada Black. Once again, kind of recently acquired fragrance. I've always had this in a decant ever since I smelled it many years ago, but a full bottle pickup here recently, and it coming in at number 5 with ChatGPT describing this as my nighttime weapon. Dark, smooth, mysterious, and classy. It shows restraint and depth. Rare for most guys your age. One of the most aura-heavy designers ever. That has to take the cake for the best write-up so far. So we'll jot that down on the notebook here. Prada Black, best AI description. Holy cow. It's my nighttime weapon. Dark, smooth, mysterious, classy. It shows restraint and depth, which I guess is rare for 23-year-olds. And it's one of the most aura-heavy designers ever. I'd agree completely. It's got a almost musky, vanilla, rubbery kind of softness to it. The scent certainly is there. I'm not saying it's weak or anything, but it's just enough to where you notice the fragrance. But it's not like one of these elixirs that it's going to knock everybody in the face, feet ahead of you and feet behind you. And this fragrance definitely makes you get close. It's an addictive scent profile. You want to keep smelling it over and over again. And I think especially cool weathered months for the evening time, just like we talked about with Riviere, this would be a home run. This is an amazing date night fragrance, a great going out on the town fragrance in the evening. This carries just a sense of maturity and almost a mysterious vibe that people are going to want to explore when you wear this fragrance. So shout out to Prada Black, number 5. Coming in at number 4, let's hear it for Louis Vuitton's Meteor. This is the second LV to be featured on the list. Of course, we had City of Stars kick things off. But Meteor is described as underrated and insanely good. Clean, musky, slightly spicy. This smells like success in motion. Perfect grown but still young energy. I like that description there. Smells like success in motion, perfect grown but still young energy. And I can see that. This, of course, is one of the more versatile fragrances in my collection, but it's such a unique, fresh, warm-weathered fragrance. Because when you think of fragrances like this, that it's going to be going up against, you're going to think of something that's fresh, that's clean, that's smooth, that has a real major pop of citrus, maybe some soft woods, that has inevitably some layer of sweetness, depending on how toned up or dialed down that is. It's going to be sweet and fresh and fruity. And this has some of those elements, but as I mentioned, with the neroli and the heavy bits of pepper that you find throughout this fragrance, it has a green spiciness to it while still maintaining a fresh, grown-up, mature kind of a vibe to it. A lot of people sleep on this fragrance. It was my first LV pickup for a reason. You just can't deny this stuff. And the performance and the longevity is nuclear. Maybe the best out of everything on this list today. Great stuff. Louis Vuitton's Meteor, and it's coming in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, the champion of last year's list, PDM's Sedley. This was ranked last January as the best fragrance in my collection, but since a couple other ones have come in, this has now been demoted to number 3. This is described as an elite freshie, sparkling, modern, athletic, clean. This screams active lifestyle, golf, summer, daytime confidence in a bottle. Thank you for that description there for PDM's Sedley. That's interesting. Active lifestyle, and it's described as an elite freshie, being sparkling, modern, athletic, and clean. I would agree with all those. The athletic one, that personally has never come to my mind. I wouldn't necessarily think of this as a sporty kind of fragrance, like something you'd spray on in the locker room or wear to one of your games, even though that certainly is a possibility you could wear this to do. But as we've mentioned many times before, this has that lemon lime. People say Sprite Zero, kind of smells like a body wash in some ways, has some sweet mint, lavender, a nice bed of woods as everything dries down. It's clean, it's mature, it's classy. It's really bright and zingy, and people especially get that off the opening smelling this when you're wearing it. My first ever niche pickup for a reason. I'm not going to continue to belabor that point anymore, but I like it. And obviously ChatGPT ranking it first and third across the last 2 years. They're big fans of it as well. PDM Sedley, the best fresh fragrance they've come out with? I think so. I've got to throw in a disclaimer for number 2 before everybody starts furiously typing in the comments section. I know this list is reserved for full bottles only. I didn't include decants, and I didn't include that last year. And I do have a full bottle of Creative Venice. I promise you I do. You've seen it before on the channel, but my dad actually took the bottle with him on a work trip being gone this week. And so I'm stuck with my decant from Decant X. And so we're just going to have to do with that for now. But I do have the full bottle. It'll no doubt pop up in a future fragrance video and list. So had to hit that first. But they describe this being the number 2 fragrance in my collection. And they describe it as being still iconic for a reason. Masculine, driven, recognizable, but not obnoxious. It fits your YouTube presence perfectly because people expect Adventist and it delivers alpha without trying too hard. I'm not going to lie, I didn't read these descriptions before the video. I've talked to ChatGPT before, so obviously it has somewhat of an idea of who I am. But Creed Adventist and this saying it fits my YouTube presence perfectly. I appreciate that, chat. Thank you for the compliment. Alpha without trying too hard, yeah. Guys, this stuff is just tried and tested. I mean, it's the most iconic men's fragrance ever for a reason. It's the most copied, the most cloned fragrance ever for a reason. People love this DNA. It's popular now. It's going to be popular 50 years from now. Creed Adventist, it's timeless. It's never going to go away. And it's that good for a reason. Number 2 in the eyes of ChatGPT. Coming in at number 1, we have a new champion atop the list. Louis Vuitton's Imagination. That makes a total of 3 LV fragrances in this video. And funny enough, I own only 3 full bottles of Louis Vuitton fragrances. And they popped all 3 in here. This is the crown jewel. Clean, uplifting, expensive smelling, and effortlessly mature without being old. It works for church, dates, travel, and daily life. If walking confidently with purpose had a scent, this is it. I would agree with that completely. You've heard me describe this as almost like a fresh laundry on a Sunday afternoon fragrance. And I still think it carries that, the tea, the citrus, just the soft sweetness that it carries. It's clean. It's not in your face. As it said, effortlessly mature without being too old. I certainly think when somebody smells this, and especially when you see it out in public, this is a fragrance that carries that idea of responsibility, maturity, works for any season, any time of year. It's the most hyped Louis Vuitton fragrance ever. Some would say that's unwarranted. Others would say it's very justified. I don't know where you fall in the camp. It's a very good fragrance nonetheless. It's not my favorite LV. I don't know if it's a top 2 for me. It might be number 3. But nonetheless, you can't deny the popularity, the success, and just the wearability of this fragrance and the compliments and the positive attention that it's going to bring you. So Louis Vuitton Imagination coming in at number 1 on this list. How about you drop down in the comments section below? How would you rank these 10 fragrances given here tonight? Maybe your list would differ from ChatGPT's, no doubt. But how about we'll have some discussion about that down in the comments section below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We have that devotional coming up Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But until then, stay safe and God bless.